taking away their job, but it's going to be more effectively helping them to do their things better way, is my submission on this.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Coming back on the topic which we left is temperature monitoring, and so I would like to elaborate. Reliance Life Sciences, majority of your products are cold chain, and temperature monitoring is extremely critical to maintain the efficacy of the product. So how do you go about doing that, and how our partner, logistics partners, can play a role not only at the stockist and distributor end, which you elaborated, but during the transit phase and when they pick up shipment and deliver the shipments.
Sure. I think in terms of cold chain management, as you rightly said, almost all our products are cold chain managed. They require cold chain. Most of them 2 to 8, some are 25. And the challenges become little more aggressive when it has to be, small volumes have to be distributed to multiple locations. I mean, sending a full truck or reefer is a far less riskier proposition as compared to sending 3 boxes to a location, 2 to another, 25 to third, and so on and so forth. And especially with advent of, I would say, institutional buyers, all the government institutions buying, which we have seen over the last 3-4 years, very increasingly. So Telangana government, maybe Tamil Nadu government, Maharashtra government, Madhya Pradesh government, they have very very difficult, challenging distribution requirements to distribute to all their hospitals. It could be even 1 box to be sent to some very remote location. So that actually becomes one of our major challenges in terms of sending fragmented small shipments. In terms of technology, yes, we have, I think we have seen a lot of emerging active solutions also emerging, which are catering to different sizes. You can have small boxes giving, even very small box giving active solutions, larger boxes giving active solutions, providing active solutions. But even in active solutions itself, so it's not the technology that is available or not available, but in active solutions also, in the first panel discussions as I was hearing, in terms of reefer container, if we export, we have tried putting our own data loggers inside reefer containers and sending it. And I'm sure most of us would have done that. You see a lot of disconnect which is happening in between. When a reefer is being loaded from one place to another place, you will see suddenly some blackout for maybe 1.5 hours, 2 hours, even 6 hours we have seen. So it's very difficult to even rely completely on those active solutions, even though they are, formally speaking, they are very good and adapted to your situation. So that becomes a challenge for us. And we don't have all cargoes which are reefer container worth of cargoes, let's say. That's one part. Second part, the logistics service providers or other channel partners who are involved in the whole game, including the airports. Airports, we have seen varying kinds of, India, of course, we are, I think, much better evolving and much faster. At least the major airports are evolving very fast. They are having good facilities. But in the entire logistics chain, we see that there are some excellent spots, bright spots in between. But the connectivity between them is also not always, up to the mark. At the same time, one of the destinations abroad, we were having some issues of shipping to that destination and looking at some temperature potential excursions within the range. So we actually went there, we gained an entry, and we were shocked to see that the people in that airport who are managing cold room were not educated about what is 2 to 8 and what is -20. We were actually shocked to see. It's a real life thing which I can't obviously share in the public forum, but then we managed to gain an entry through our channel partner. We went there, we educated them, held some training for those people, then started putting some different kind of labels to educate them. So there are different solutions for different aspects. All in all, what we generally speaking feel is that because of all the uncertainties around, we tend to believe more on passive solutions. So we do rely significantly on passive solutions. We have very carefully selected our logistics service providers. In India, whom we work very closely with them. You had a question earlier about what do you do with the logistics service providers. For standard, of course, we don't bother much, but any new destinations, we really sit together, we map the whole thing, and then our logistics service providers are good enough to give us a lot of feedback on several occasions. International destinations is always a challenge, especially new destinations, there are challenges when you don't have cold chain facilities and so on and so forth. So we again tend to go back to passive solutions. So passive solutions is the thing that we generally tend to work with. And we do monitor each of our shipment that goes till the end. And then there's somebody who's tracking, somebody in the field who is tracking each and every shipment. And the moment it goes beyond a threshold limit, then he starts getting involved more actively into it. And then we always, with the help of some of the logistics service providers, we either tend to divert it to some other potential location, or we find a place where it can be parked for some time. We find a place where gel packs can be, and we are able to manage the situation in that manner.
I would like to just add
Yeah,
a
I will
couple of
just
points.
ask Rajesh J. Rao, Cadila. So, how do you monitor? I mean, Cadila is, what is the percentage of your cold chain products to total products you handle, and how do you monitor? Briefly, because we have to open this session for question answer, and Mr. Kulkarni also has a point to make.
Actually, this cold chain consignment, there are two ways to look at it. One, the direct consignment with cold chain van to a C&S level, okay? So that is monitoring by data logger and the reports given by the logistic partner. Then the important aspect, see each and every system barring all said and done, especially cold chain product, the manual intervention is one of the utmost important thing. So while delivering from C&S to a local retailer, so there is a system, whoever is received the goods, he is supposed to take the consignment, because especially 228-degree product is mainly injectable, okay? So they're supposed to acknowledgement and saying that the delivery taken from the deep freezer. This is how we narrated in our SOP. Similarly, while delivering the consignment to the logistic partner, the same way, whoever is receiving end, he is supposed to verify the all consignment in sound condition, proper gel pack, packing is there, then he is supposed to acknowledgement. So strictly SOP is monitoring, and frequently whoever is auditing there are more than 30 C&S across India. So whoever our internal auditor or external auditor, one of the agenda is to check the 228-degree, because the product is label claim 228-degree. So he will check the physical stock. If anything goes wrong, then there are cases wherein we raise the debit note to the C&S if they are not maintaining the norms. This is how we control.
Coming to you, yeah, you had a point to make.
Yes. So what Rajesh and Surendra said, I just wanted to give a different perspective. While designing the supply chain, where we should actually focus more on designing the low-cost solutions, because more and more money we spend on logistics and warehousing, it is again going to cost a bomb to the end consumer. And if we look at some of your arms, like Jio, we say, like it has totally disrupted the market. So tomorrow it is possible in pharma also, or in pharma supply chain also, there might be some new technologies, new solutions that can come where the cost will really go down. Currently we are facing all those issues, like in terms of like every year the cost is going on, air freight, all the costs, warehousing costs, and because of the cold chain, our logistics costs are going up and up. So I request our channel partners to actually look into this aspect of developing the cost-effective solutions, so that like it is a win-win situation. Otherwise, somebody else will come tomorrow, and we all would probably not be there at the time. So that is one aspect. Other than that, like internally for pharma industries also, we have to develop the products which are like more suitable for all the conditions as far as possible. There has to be incentive to be given to the developers who actually develop these type of products, because maintaining the temperature throughout the supply chain, like stockist and all, how you monitor, and it is limitation, like driver switches of the AC. It is very difficult to track all those things. He can monitor, or anybody can tamper with the data as well. And it is not only in India, but other countries also we have seen, naturally wherever the temperature is maintained, that is because of their natural condition, yeah, that is possible. But otherwise it is very difficult to maintain, and there are excursion there also. So those are these two aspects I would like to say, like developing the cost-effective solution by the channel partners, and developing the products which are actually stable at all the temperatures.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. You spoke about, new technologies coming, which will disrupt the pharmaceutical. They are already there or in the process of being there. So there's a company called as Think Systems in US, California, Los Gatos, California, which has come out with digital coffee. Right, so it accesses the same neurological pathways as coffee and gives you the kick as if you're drinking coffee without physically drinking coffee. Right, and I had made a presentation in World Drug Manufacturing Conference, Dusseldorf, Germany, in December 2013, where I had presented that the next generation pharmaceutical tablets would be the tablets which we are using to play with, it will monitor, possibly your watch, smart watch will monitor your blood pressure, and if it is high, maybe it can give a electronic signal to your heart to reduce it. Yeah, these are the future which is happening. I think GSK and Google are already collaborating for digital medicine. So tomorrow, most of our products would be digital, including pharmaceutical. There won't be any supply chain. The future of supply chain may be no supply chain. Right? Because look at the industry, music industry. How many of you are buying music CDs? None of us. We are downloading music. Look at, let's say, even let's go to diagnostic. Now, many of us were, testing our blood sugar. And a lot of reagents which were called in the medical laboratory and testing our blood sugar. Nowadays, you get a glucometer, a piece of paper. You take a drop of blood, put it on a piece of paper, and you get your blood sugar immediately at home. So what happened to all the reagents, chemicals which were used for calculating blood sugar? The supply chain is disrupted. Look at books. Now we are downloading e-books. So the future is digital. So at some point of time, we will have digital pharmaceutical, because there are three main processes which are happening in the human body. It's a mechanical process where I'm moving my hand. There's a chemical process, which is a physiological process which is going on. And other is a neurological process, monitored by the electronic signals. Now, what we did initially in medicine, we had the physical intervention. So if you have gangrene in your foot, we amputate the foot, right? That was a physical intervention. With invention of chemicals, we started manipulating the human body using chemicals. And the next leap would be manipulating the human body using electronics, neurological signals, and that will come. Okay, so I would summarize the discussion, because we can go on and on these technologies. Summarize the discussion in just 2 points. It makes sense for pharma companies to engage our logistics partners from product development to launch, giving them a forward window so that they can plan their capacities, their service levels, their insurance, cash flows to support us. And second was the cold chain topic. So I think the future of cold chain is hot, right? It's going to be hot because most of the biologicals, if you look at most of the inventions which are happening in biologicals, and biologicals would require cold chain. So there's a good future for cold chain. So I'm summarizing and concluding this panel discussions and opening this session for question answers from the audience. Can someone arrange for a microphone to be present with the participant, delegate? So we have a couple of mics here in case you guys have a shortage.
Hello. Check. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm from Skyline Freight Forwarders. My name is Ronnie. The question is open to any one of you all, any panelist. We've been handling some shipments. We have a forwarder side. I have a question that is from forwarders as from the airline side. There are some shipments given from India, Mumbai, say, via Dubai to Europe or US. We get shipments from 15 to 25 degrees. Labels are fixed on that. The transiting route has been told, you can use any route, but I've chosen via Dubai. And the shipper says first to move the cargo in ambient temperature, number one. And if the cargo has to move on ambient temperature, why is the shippers affixing the labels of 15 to 25 degrees? And if there is any excursion or anything, who is responsible? The shipper, the forwarder, or the airline? Thanks.
Who would like to take it?
See, actually, the temperature control is a design itself a product. So it is already mentioned in the PDR. So whatever the design says of the product, it has to be go like this. There is no in-between changes of temperature control. Otherwise, the consignment can be returned.
So just to add into that, see, whenever we say 15 to 25, what our understanding says that yes, this is the most ideal temperature that the product should be. But couple of hours or some time, if it goes out of that also, there are like stability studies, right, which we all know to support that. So it is finally the responsibility of the manufacturer to end the to actually have the entire shipment in that range or with whatever some excursion. So it is finally his responsibility. He is taking a decision. He is taking that risk because he knows that he has got some data to support, and basically he has to report that to the right authorities, right stakeholders, that this particular this shipment has gone out for 5 hours from the temperature range that is maintained, that should have been maintained, etc. So that is his risk, and he will take the call, because if there is any damage, etc., who should bear that? That depends on the agreement. Like, so if there is agreement and it is clear that it has to be maintained in ambient, and then there is temperature excursion, then shipper or the carried the partner should not be punished.
Thanks.
Madhusudan, you had a question.
Yeah, my name is Madhusudan. I'm from RPG Life Sciences. This question is specifically to Mr. Sanjay Kulkarni. See, the topic is, end-to-end optimization. So we have shippers here, we have LSPs here. So since you are, in charge of demand planning, see, this optimization is, this is topic here. Then how can you elaborate, how this, this demand planning to the last mile delivery? So these two, the shippers and, LSPs, how, your role as a demand planning guy, in the sense, basically this optimization is cost control plus inventory control. So my question is, see how you plan and what is the ideal, inventory should be in the supply chain.
Yeah, so this is basically to be decided by demand planner in terms of what is the ideal inventory. There are many aspects on which the inventory policy is decided. First of all, it comes from the strategy, like whether how much important this market is. Right from there, like whether are we the only player, are we the major player in that, or we are just another player, and what is our lookout for next 5 years or 10 years or 15 years in that market. So that is one aspect that goes into the decision of how much inventory to keep. There are service level expectations. In earlier panel, we were discussing about the penalties if we delay some of the shipments, so that also comes into picture. And then, of course, there is logistics where we actually have the different modes of logistics for different delivery times. So you can expedite some of the shipments, etc. So by various means. So those type of things are in the end. But the inventory policy is the first, where you take actually call on terms of like how much inventory at what node to keep. And we are touching on artificial intelligence also, some of the points where like new technologies are actually coming up and people have started using it, but still it is a long way to go, where we have big data, where like so much data is available in the system, where we actually we should use those data to find out what are the right inventory level at the right node. And how service provider can contribute is like not in the decision making, but at least making the facilities available as per the request. That is what I can say.
So all panelists agree, because see now the question, see that See, there are two roles here. This is shippers as well as LSPs. So the connect, see the optimization where there are the speed, then your cost, all the factors are, need to take into consideration. So this, the right from the planning to the last miles, supply, as a supply chain head, specifically we are